Hey guys, and welcome to the video. We're going to be discussing the found footage horror movie, Paranormal Activity, becoming a London West End stage show. So let's dive into this horror movie news. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and stay up to date with all the movie news we have going on around here, guys. So guys, we're going to be taking a look at this article from movieweb.com. Paranormal Activity set to haunt theatres with a new stage adaptation. Paranormal Activity is coming to terrify audiences in London's West End. Hey guys, I just wanted to take a minute to tell you about my brand new movie mailbag. If you have a movie related question that you think would be interesting and that you would like answered in a video, please send it to reviewflix@hotmail.com. That's reviewflix@hotmail.com. Make sure to put the email subject as movie question, and you might just see your question in my next video. With that down, let's get back to the video. So yeah guys, I remember back in the day watching the first Paranormal Activity when it came out in 2007. It sort of reinvigorated the subgenre of found footage within horror, and it did a fantastic job. It had a super low budget of just $15,000, and it went on to make ridiculous amounts of money as well. And it was just a really simple, stripped back horror movie of a camera set up in someone's room, and then at night, this like haunting activities happen in this room while this couple are asleep. And it was just one of the scariest movies I ever watched, man. And it was so good. It reinvigorated the found footage genre, and it did a fantastic job. And it was really good. But anyway, guys, that's enough of me babbling on. Let's jump into the article and see what it has to say. So, Paranormal Activity franchise has not released a new film in almost 2 years, but the horror franchise will soon tell a new story. Not on the big screen, but on stage. There are already several films and movie sagas that have had the opportunity to expand their reach, arriving at marquees of Broadway or London's West End, and now the story created by Israelite, director and screenwriter Oren Peli will have its chance to surprise live audiences as well. Yeah guys, I think this would lend itself really well to a live stage show. I mean, you're watching the show on, on stage with live actors acting out the kind of the movie of Paranormal Activity, and then in the theatre at the same time you have haunting things going on around you, kind of interacting with the audience at the same time, kind of spooking you in your seat and stuff like that. And I think, around the Halloween period, I think something like that as a live stage show would be just something that people would love, people would eat it up, and I'm definitely looking forward to going to see it myself. If it's playing here in London in the West End, it's a couple of hours from where I live, I'll definitely be going to check it out if it's out in the next few years, that's for sure. The Hollywood Reporter broke the news that Paranormal Activity would soon be adapted as a stage play. Acclaimed producer Simon Friend has acquired the rights to the story from Paramount Pictures, with screenwriter Levi Holloway penning the script, which the outlet states is in early stages of development. Friend has already had the opportunity to bring various film franchises to the stage, such as The Da Vinci Code, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, The Life of Pi, which won 5 Oliver Awards and 3 Tony Awards. Holloway, for his part, also had a long list of acclaimed productions under his belt. He recently had his play, The Grey House, playing on Broadway, starring Tatiana Maslany. That's the actress who played She-Hulk, I believe, Paul Sparks and Laurie Metcalf. So, Paranormal Activity's legacy. Just as horror productions like the Blair Witch Project or thrillers like Search strongly innovated the way that presented their stories and were filmed, Paranormal Activity also appeared as a kind of pioneer within the horror genre. The first film, released in 2007 but set in 2006, follows a couple who moves to a new home where they are stalked by a demon. However, the woman believes that the spirit has been following her all of her life, and she may be right. The interesting thing about the movie is that most of the audio-visual material is captured by security cameras, helping to build a realistic atmosphere that makes the story even darker. The sequel, which is actually set both a few weeks before and also after the events of the first movie, hit theatres in 2010 and is centered on the sister of the original protagonist and her family, who begin to experience strange events. In 2011, the first official prequel arrived. The film tells the story of two sisters as children and their first encounter with the demon that will continue to haunt them for life. They live with their mother and her boyfriend, who is the one who decides to install security cameras to discover what is happening with the girls. Yeah, guys, I remember that. That was such a unique thing within the found footage. Instead of having someone running around, with the camera on their shoulders, so to speak, and having this wobbly kind of found footage camera, it was like security cameras set up in the corners of room. And then at night when people were sleeping, you could see, doors moving around, objects started like moving and stuff. And it was such a creepy atmosphere, and it did such a great job with the found footage genre. Fantastic movie. Like I said before, guys, if you have not seen Paranormal Activity, any of them, go back and at least watch the first Paranormal Activity if you have any interest in found footage movies. It's such a fantastic movie, guys. You'll really, really enjoy it if you like the found footage subgenre. So the fourth installment, which premiered in 2012, is set in 2011 and focuses on a family that begins to experience strange events when a new neighbour arrives with her son. The neighbour is in fact the protagonist of the first film. The following installments, The Marked Ones, The Ghost Dimension, and The Next of Kin, sought to connect the whole mythology of the saga, using clues left by the previous protagonist to help the new victims of the fearsome demon, and rebuild the story that connects different generations throughout a dark force. Yeah, guys, so in my opinion, the first couple of movies did a fantastic job. The third and fourth ones, they're kind of okay. I would watch them. They're definitely worth watching if you like the found footage, subgenre. But yeah, guys, just do yourself a favor and make sure you check out the franchise for sure. But anyway, guys, we've got another article to go into, just talking about Paranormal Activity and why the franchise has been so successful. So I thought this would be a good add-on to the video. Let's make the video a little bit longer. Let's dive more into the Paranormal Activity franchise and just read a little bit more about the backstory to it. So, whether you love it or hate it, the Paranormal Activity franchise has been massively successful. But why? So we're going to dive in a little bit more, find out about the nuances that made it so successful, what made it so different in the subgenre of found footage, and so the Paranormal Activity movies are some of those that you either love or hate. A lot can be chalked up to the found footage format. Either you love the raw, genuine feeling of a shaky camera, or it gives you major motion sickness. Yeah, so that was one thing with the found footage movies, that it's a very fine line between making it look like a genuine kind of horror movie that's actually been filmed in real life, or there's just someone running around with a camera on their shoulder, and you get all this shaky footage, and it's hard for the audience to kind of figure out what's going on. It makes people feel sick when the camera's moving all over the place. So it's a very fine line to tread. But if you do get a found footage movie correct, if you do make the atmosphere look like, if you make it feel genuine, like a real life movie, then it works in its favor, but it's a very fine line to tread. So the movie helped launch the massive Blumhouse Productions, which is the force behind some of the best horror movies in recent years, like Insidious, Get Out, and Us. Yeah, Blumhouse, when it comes to their horror movies, they've done absolutely incredible. They made, was it The Invisible Man that they did, where some guy was running around with a tech suit that turns him invisible, and he was haunting his ex-wife. And man, that film was incredible. Even though the reviews for the movies, specifically the newer ones, have tanked, that's what I was saying, guys. The first two, really, really good. The third and the fourth ones, they're kind of okay, worth checking out, but they're not as good. Have tanked if there's still something to be said about the franchise. Massive success factor, but what exactly makes this particular franchise such a hit? Perfected the found footage format. Yeah, so this is a bit more into, like I was saying, guys, that fine line between the shaky cam found footage or kind of having it like a realistic feel to it. And they did a great job setting it up as security cameras. You've got the camera set down on a tripod so it's not shaking all over the place. You can clearly see what the footage is coming from the cameras. So that was a really smart move on their part, I think. Everyone's preferences for movie styles are different, and the found footage format is divisive as they come. Some people hate the idea of shaky amateur camera work, while others see it as being raw and immersive, enhancing the viewing experience. Whatever your opinion of found footage style is, Paranormal Activity has perfected it. Another thing with found footage, you can make found footage movies ridiculously cheap. So there's a high profit margin to be made if you can crack the format of a found footage movie. So the found footage movie film format was originally popularized by the Blair Witch Project in 1999. Guys, this is another movie that you absolutely must check out if you haven't checked it out before, the Blair Witch Project. At the time when it was first made, the Blair Witch Project, it's about these 3 students who go into the woods and they've heard about, a legend about a witch, and they go camping in the woods. They take a camera in it. At the time, people thought it was a real documentary, like about a real thing that happened to these 3 students, because the found footage format wasn't popularized back then, and people thought it was a real piece of footage from these real students who went into the woods to look out to find this witch. And it was a testament to how well the film was made, and it was made for peanuts as well, like hardly any budget whatsoever. The Blair Witch Project received mostly positive reviews from critics and some audience members, but generally it served as an entry point for people into all found footage film style and allowed everyone to form their opinions about the production choice. The jerky camera movements and weird home feeling are widely different from most what most people associate with movies, and can come off as a bit cheaply made. But Paranormal Activity really took the concept and ran with it. Yeah, they did a fantastic job with it, and people really kind of flocked to it. People really enjoyed it. The use of high-definition home video camera was a big help here. The camera was also often either sitting on a tripod or some kind of level surface, which eliminated the need for a whole camera crew. Yeah, this is what I was saying, guys. So they took out the shaky cam, had it put on a tripod, so the camera was still, it was like a home camera that was filmed for a security system, but the camera wasn't shaking all over the place like most found footage, which helped cut costs, but also made the movie feel more believable. Absolutely. When you realize it's just the two people on screen and a camera, it makes it feel like everything that is happening is real. Honestly, back when the movie originally premiered, several people were convinced that there was a decent amount of truth to what they were watching unfold on screen. It made it much more scarier when you thought it could be real, and the raw mockumentary feel of the filming is the main contributor. Yeah, I remember with going back to the Blair Witch guys, when the three students, who are obviously actors, they went out and filmed the Blair Witch Project. When the film came out, I think they played on the fact that audiences thought it was a real documentary about a real thing that happened, and they played into that in their marketing, and it was really smart the way they marketed that found footage movie, playing on the fact that people thought it was real. And yeah, so cheap to make yielded an impressive return on investment. So this is obviously a screenshot here. This one is from, I'm not sure which Paranormal Activity, I'm not sure which Paranormal Activity this one's from, but yeah, this is the kind of indicative of kind of what the film was like, guys. So you have this looks like a webcam from like a computer or a laptop or something, and this girl's obviously like chilling on her laptop or something, and then in the background there's this like creepy demonic kid. And this is the kind of thing that happens in the movie. You have like things moving in the background, doors opening, like things appearing, and it's just such a creepy atmosphere, and it's done so well. So Paranormal Activity was about as good as making a movie as can get in terms of return on investment. The original movie from 2007 was made for just $15,000 and went on to make $200 million. Guys, it cost $15,000 and made $200 million. That's an insane return on investment. That is crazy by any standard. That's an insane margin, and it's something that the franchise maintained throughout the rest of the movies. Now, the fact that Paranormal Activity was so cheap to make could come off as meaning that the movie itself is cheap, While that could largely be an individual opinion, it doesn't really seem to be the case. No, I mean, like, you can just set up these cheaply made cameras and you can have an actress, like, in these movies as well, you don't need big A-list celebrities. They're relatively unknown actors and actresses, so you don't have to pay them much. The cameras, like, don't need to be expensive movie cameras, and they can just be made for peanuts, which is great. The found footage format can certainly come off as feeling cheap. Again, it's a format you either love or hate, but the way Paranormal Activity did it doesn't actually have a bargain bin feel. It feels more genuine and, for the lack of a better word, realistic, even with such a small budget. Obviously, working with a small budget was beneficial as it yielded production and massive return on investment, but it's also a larger part of what made the franchise popular. Paranormal Activity was a bit of an experiment, and if it had cost any more to make, there's a chance that maybe it wouldn't have been as good or as successful. The low production cost makes it easier to experiment with different concepts and techniques without having hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line when you're not sure how to make a movie, when you're not sure how the movie will be received. This concept continued to work in the production's favor for sequels. Even though ratings started to fall after the first or second movie, it never became a money suck for the studios behind the movies. So yeah, the fact that it had a very low budget mean that they could experiment with the movies. They pretty much knew that they were going to make a profit to some degree because the budget was so low. So it sort of freed them up to experiment with different concepts within the Paranormal Activity franchise, which is a really cool thing, actually. So, scary, fun entertainment. So, while reviews and ratings have generally been tanking over the years, the Paranormal Activity franchise still delivers certain scary yet fun sense of entertainment that is unique to anything else out there. The Paranormal Activity movies are definitely ones that require you to suspend your disbelief to really enjoy them. They can send you through a range of emotions and reactions, from becoming scared to laughing, to feeling the tension and simply being bored. But if you choose to allow yourself to be immersed in the movie, no matter how ridiculous the concept may seem to you, you're sure to have at least somewhat a decent time. There's also something to be said about the market that Paranormal Activity dominates. There isn't another global found footage franchise out there right now. This provides Paranormal Activity with an extreme unique selling position, even if you don't like found footage style. Guys, in my opinion, they need to do what they did with the Scream franchise. Take it back to its roots, kind of do a soft reboot on the franchise, bring everybody back to it, because horror is having a massive resurgence in the last few years. Paranormal Activity is ripe for a resurgence and to be rebooted in a soft reboot style, in my opinion. And I think it would do amazing if they can make it for the same amount of budget, around about the $15,000. Even if they made it for $50,000, they could still go on to make a huge return on their investment. And yeah, I just think it's rife. It's just set up to be a great franchise if they can, do a soft reboot and bring it back to its former glory, so to speak. But yeah, anyway, guys, I'm going to end the video off there. So that's kind of a dive into the Paranormal Activity becoming a stage play at the West End, which is super, super exciting. To see this play out in a live stage show would be really, really cool, in my opinion. It would lend itself well. And that's a bit of a backstory into the Paranormal Activity franchise as well. The fact that it was made for peanuts, went on to make tons of money. It made Blumhouse become sort of a household name within the horror genre. And yeah, guys, so jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Is this a stage show that you would go and watch? Is it something that would interest you? I would love to know what your thoughts are on this. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you soon.